If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, welcome in. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo coming at you, taking you into your Tuesday morning for our friends over on the East Coast, wrapping up your Monday night here live from Los Angeles for our friends on the West Coast. And what a streak it's been. 2-0 on Monday. Reds money line, boom, never in doubt. 7-1. The bats come alive late for Cincinnati against Mitch Keller and mainly that Pirates bullpen. And then Brandon fought over 15 and a half outs against the Dodgers. Even money, like taking candy from a baby. We beat the CLV market. I mean, we got that at even money. When you woke up Tuesday morning, it was minus 150 at DraftKings. It was minus 75 cents at Caesars. The heater continues. We are 26-6. Last 8 days up over 20 units, 20.6 units. Find me someone else who has made you over 20 units in the last 8 days. I dare you. We've got a great baseball slate on Tuesday. We will continue to dive into. We've got action on the ice, conference finals, NHL, NBA. I can't wait for Tuesday's action. And I can't wait to see how this Oklahoma City Thunder team responds on such short rest after a 7-game set with the Denver Nuggets to this well-rested Minnesota Timberwolves team. Look, this is the question that we've been trying to figure out, right? For the better part of the last 36 hours, rest versus rust. Will having 5 full days off for Minnesota versus just a single full day off for Oklahoma City prove beneficial, or will it actually hurt the Timberwolves? I mean, this Thunder team, what's so unique about them is that with their age and their youth, I don't think the lack of proper rest, if you will, is going to hurt them in the slightest. I actually think if you look at the minutes, Game 7 against Denver, I mean, guys, it was a 32-point blowout. No one in Oklahoma City in this starting 5 really had to strain themselves against the Nuggets in that Game 7. Isaiah Hartenstein and Lou Dort played 17 minutes. Yes, SGA and Jalen Williams crossed the 30-minute mark, but I wouldn't classify that game, those minutes, as strenuous. Because Oklahoma City, it felt like once they went up 29-26 early in the second quarter, they just went on a run and never looked back. It was done at the half. And Denver looked exhausted. We spoke of it yesterday. They took the ball out of the Joker's hands. He only had 9 shot attempts. That's not a recipe for winning if you're Denver. He had shot the ball at least 14 times, games 1 through 6. Comes back 9 field goal attempts, Game 7, because they're chucking desperation threes where they go 10 for 45 from beyond the arc. And OKC was in control with a capital K. I mean, they were just in absolute dominant control of that Game 7. So I'm not too worried about the Thunder in this series against Minnesota. I'm not worried about the rest versus rust thing. I think OKC is going to be fine, and I think ultimately they're going to win the series. The question is, how do you bet it? Because they're such heavy favorites, right? You got to look to get a little creative in this series. So if we're looking at, first off, Game 1, 7.5, it's not really a number I love. I mean, OKC could run Minnesota out, beat them by 15, drub them, wax them. But it could also be Game 1. The Wolves, this is an unpredictable game. Game 1 in this situation, 1 day of rest versus 5 days of rest, is an unpredictable spot. I'm looking more at how to play the series than I am how to play this game. So maybe you look at some exact results in the series market, right? OKC in 5 is plus 310. OKC in 7 is plus 370. To me, that's bettable. Both of those. You want to put a half unit on each? To me, that's bettable. However much you want to put on each. Guarantee yourself a profit if they win it in 5 or in 7. I mean, technically, you can guarantee if you're betting big numbers a small profit if you go 5, 7, and 6. But, I mean, at that point, you got to just look at the series spread, wouldn't you? At that juncture, which, I mean, I guess you could. Series spread. Thunder. I don't know. Minus a game and a half is minus 140. I don't know if I want to lay juice on that. I'd rather, if they go minus a game and a half, then they're probably going to do them in 5. And I'd rather try to get a better price than 3-1 in that case. So different various ways to bet this series that you got to look at. I think taking a piece of OKC in 5 and a piece of OKC in 7 is a pretty reasonable way to look at betting this series. I will say I've got a lot more conviction on betting the other series, and that's the Knicks, that's the Pacers, that's the Eastern Conference Finals. I think at, what was it, plus 220, you can go exact games, 6 or 7. They're both the same price. I would do, personally, a piece of the Knicks in 7, Knicks 4-3 at 4-1, and Knicks 4-2, meaning Knicks in 6, at 6-1. That's how I would look to bet this series, because when we look at the Eastern Conference Finals, this has absolute bloodbath written all over it. And I think that's what we're in store for here. I think we are in store for an absolute bloodbath. I'm saying this goes 7. And that's the shortest shot on the board, and I think with good reason. Knicks in 7 is 4-1. Then you have Pacers in 6, Knicks in 5, and Knicks in 6 is only the 4th shot. Vegas doesn't think the Knicks are going to win this one in Indianapolis, clearly. And it makes sense that the home team winning would be the shorter shots, right? But I think you get a piece of Knicks in 7, get a piece of Knicks in 6. The Knicks can win on the road. Hello. Newsflash, they've been road warriors this postseason. The New York Knicks on the road this postseason are 5-1. So I'm not afraid of taking the Knicks in 6 against Indiana. I think at 4-1, Knicks in 7, at 6-1, Knicks in 6. I think that those are 2 good plus money plays to have in pocket going into the series. Look, this series, and I can't wait. Let's spend a little time on this series since I go on vacation starting tomorrow. I'm going to be gone a week. Let's spend a little time here. The Knicks pose a matchup nightmare for the Pacers, right? The Knicks can run multiple different lineups out there that Indiana struggles with. And when I say multiple different lineups, I mean they can run their standard 1 big, like when they start Karl Anthony Towns, right? They're starting 5. They can run that out there, and especially, even when it's not Towns, they can run Mitch out there as the lone big and pose a problem for Miles Turner. Miles Turner and Cat are playing somewhat similar games lately, right? Turner, I think, brings a little more on the defensive side, but they both like to face the basket. Turner, I never understood why he didn't become more of a post presence. He's liking to shoot more from the outside as his career progresses, seemingly. Cat, we all know, wants to be, doesn't want to be 6'11", wants to be 5'11", wants to hang on the perimeter, right? But when the Knicks have Mitch in there, Mitch poses a real problem for Turner, because I think Mitchell Robinson is just too damn physical for Miles Turner. And the Knicks can, with 1 big, have an Anunoby guard Spicy P, guard Siakam, and work with the Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, 4 smaller guys out there. Or here's the other lineup that also poses a potential nightmare. You go 2 bigs, you go Twin Towers, you have Mitch on Turner. I think Cat's the guy you got to send out to Siakam, and Siakam is certainly a little quicker, much faster than Karl Anthony Towns, but I think Cat can hold his own with Siakam. And then you can put Anunoby on whoever the hell you want, presumably Halliburton, right? See, that's the difference. You go 1 big and Anunoby's probably guarding Siakam. You go 2 bigs and Anunoby's probably guarding Halliburton. I mean, either way, to me, advantage Knicks against Indiana. Now, here's the advantage, because you got to look at the other side of this. The advantage the Pacers have this series, and against almost anyone, maybe not named Oklahoma City, is unquestionably their depth. Indiana is as deep as anyone, and I mean meaningful, talented bench players, right? McConnell, Mathurin, Obi Toppin. Ain't no stopping Obi Toppin in a little revenge spot, right? I mean, this Indiana team is as deep as they come. And they can ask, like Oklahoma City can, they can ask their guys for some legitimate, meaningful minutes. And the Knicks felt that last postseason. Second round, 7 games. Knicks were dropping like flies out there, and Indiana had fresh legs in what was a hard-fought, physical 7-game set. So the depth is what scares me. But I think that this Knicks team, not only are they obviously much healthier than they were last year when they met in the second round, I think that this Knicks team is more talented. And I've been saying that all year. I've been saying this Knicks team is more talented than last year's. Last year's team was tougher. Well, this postseason, this Knicks team against Detroit and against Boston has shown me how damn tough they are. Get a piece of the Knicks in 7 at 4-1 and the Knicks in 6 at 6-1. And I think you'll be going home with a profit either way after the Eastern Conference Finals are over. Folks, you've got to check out our friends over at the Sharp Plays. Before the line moves, the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com are already there. They don't chase the market because they move it. You're not going to outmuscle billion-dollar sportsbooks or full-time pros on your own, but with the Sharp Plays, you don't have to. They're powered by cutting-edge AI and trusted insider sources, and with those tools, the Sharp Plays deliver the edge that serious bettors rely on. You'll get free betting reports, real-time alerts, and market-moving insights, all delivered right to you via email or Twitter. And this isn't some overnight startup. The Sharp Plays have a documented track record going back to 2011 with receipts, public logs, and results right there on the site. Respected, watched, and feared. It's the Sharp Plays. Check them out at sharpplays.com. We've got the sharpness of Greg Peterson up next on Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with myself, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Monday night, right on in to your Tuesday morning. We've got a locked and loaded MLB slate for you on Tuesday, 15 and a half games, because we will have the Minnesota-Cleveland game that was suspended on Monday get resumed here Tuesday. So 15 and a half games and one terrific guest to break them all down. Let's hit the progressive guest line. Welcome in Greg Peterson, VSiN's own incredible college hoops MLB expert at @GUnit_81 on Twitter. Make sure you give him a follow. Greg, we were just commenting about this during the break, and you brought it up. Interesting that a lot of games seem to be off the board or only at the board in some limited spots early on. But let's start with a game that is on the board, and the road team is laying some heavy damn juice. Philly, Colorado. I mean, how about the Phillies come back? Down 3-1. They win it 9-3 on Monday night. What are you looking here with Luzardo opposite Antonio Senzatella and his whip of 2 on Tuesday?
Yeah, if your whip would be a good bench press number for a set of 10, you know that things are not going well for you. And, well, I wish I could bench press what that would be because, man, that's pretty impressive. But that said, what I am not betting is the Colorado Rockies. I am looking to be able to reduce juice, if at all possible, to be able to back the Philadelphia Phillies. And the way that I'm going to do it is by looking at the under. Now, you always run the risk of the Philadelphia Phillies just putting up 10-plus runs all by themselves, but Jesus Luzardo has been absolutely spectacular this year. 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, an ERA just above 2. And for the Colorado Rockies, Even at home, they're an average to below average offense. And Antonio Senzatella, as you mentioned, he's got that giant whip. He's giving up north of 15 hits per 9 innings. Somehow, some way, not all of them fly out of the yard. But with this Philadelphia Phillies team, I think that they should absolutely take it to the Colorado Rockies. At this point, I don't even think that it's worth relying on the run line because you have to lay minus 180 on the run line. I'd be looking at a minus 2.5, minus 3.5, just because with the Rockies, all but 5 of their losses have come by multiple runs this year. And we saw what happened here on Monday. The Phillies were down going into the 8th inning, and they still won by 6 runs. So nothing is ever safe with the Colorado Rockies doing something meaningful in a game. I am going to be looking to just fade them in always possible.
Greg, the word disaster feels generous when we're talking about the Colorado Rockies. Yeah. They are an embarrassment to Major League Baseball. You know who's not? Tarek Skubal. How about the heater he's on? 8+ Ks in 4 straight games. He's gone 11 or more 3 times. I mean, he has been superb. He gets the ball for Detroit after a loss to St. Louis. Sonny Gray was sensational for the Redbirds. What do you like? Tigers, Cardinals, Tuesday.
And Tarek Skubal has been absolutely tremendous, but Eric Fetty is a much different pitcher at home rather than on the road. I do think that you're going to get a little bit more of a pitcher's duel. I set my total a little bit above a 7. Right now we're seeing a 7.5. I'd be willing to go in on the under, but I'm going to be willing to back St. Louis being able to get north of a plus 150 on the money line because I do like the way that Fetty, ever since he's come back from the KBO, has an ERA more than a full point better at home rather than on the road the past 2 seasons. And when it comes to Detroit, I think that they might have a few issues with this Cardinals bullpen that has been completely revamped. You've had guys like Kyle Leahy, Phil Matone look much better in this recent just heater that the St. Louis Cardinals are on. And for the Cardinals, what has been a big X factor for them, being able to get back Ivan Herrera because he had that 3 home run game earlier in the season, goes down with an injury. He comes back. He's able to get things generated a little bit more with that Cardinals offense, which has been really good at playing station-to-station baseball, not necessarily give you as much power. And for the Detroit Tigers, they did have to go into their bullpen a little bit on Monday as well because they were sort of mixing and matching those pieces with Kadira Montero having to come in after the opener as well. So being able to get St. Louis on this big of a plus number, I do like that money line to go along with the under.
Greg, how about the LA Dodgers? 4 straight losses, my man. I mean, the Dodgers, should we say that they're in disarray? This is not a team that knows what it's like to go on a losing streak of 2, let alone 4. Arizona just absolutely crushes their bullpen in this bullpen game 1. 9-3, D-backs win it Monday. Ryan Nelson doesn't have great stuff. He's opposite Yamamoto, poster boy for great stuff. What do we like, D-backs Dodgers?
I think this is a bounce back spot for the LA Dodgers. I'm going to be willing to back them on the run line, being able to get a minus 110. You mentioned it with Ryan Nelson. He's made 10 total appearances this year. Only 1 of them have been starts. Now, 27 total innings, so it shows you that he's able to give you a little bit of length. There was a time in his career where he was more of a starter, so I expect him to go like 4 innings. He might be able to give you 5, and the fielding independent and the overall strikeout stuff tells you that there's a bit of positivity coming for his 5.13 ERA. That said, with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he is the stopper for the LA Dodgers. He has been by far their best pitcher this year. He's been able to get darn near 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, an ERA just above a 2. Fielding independent is a little bit higher than that, and he does have to go up against an Arizona Diamondbacks lineup that we saw it on Monday. They were able to get 9+ runs up on the board. Diamondbacks have been a top 2 offense in the big leagues in terms of runs per game, dating back to the beginning of last year with Corbin Carroll and Eugenio Suarez being able to give you a lot of power. That said, I do think that for the LA Dodgers, they do a solid job of being able to lock down here. I think that Yamamoto is able to stop this skid. So, like the Dodgers run line, and I do like Yamamoto to keep things lower scoring. I like the under.
All right. How about the Cubs and Marlins? I've got people tweeting into the show telling me to take the over in this one. Jamison Tyone, Ryan Weathers. Cubs choked on Monday. Uncharacteristic of this Cubbies team. Is this potentially a bounce back spot? I'm seeing the money line drop at some shops to minus $1.45, about 10 cents better than what DraftKings is offering. What are your thoughts here, Cubs Marlins?
And the reason why you've got a lot of people telling you to take the over, since the beginning of the 2024 season, Miami Marlins home games, 69 overs, 33 unders at a push. I mean, my goodness, this has been absolutely ridiculous, but I'm going to be willing to take the under because I actually really like Ryan Weathers. Weathers is a former first-round pick way back in the day. He was in the San Diego Padres organization. This is going to be his second start of the season, and first start of the year, he did allow a solo home run, but gave up just that solo home run over the course of 5 innings. He might be the Miami Marlins' best pitcher pitcher at this point. And Jameson Taillon, it's been a bit shaky for him. I believe that he leads the National League with 13 home runs surrendered thus far this season, but I think that this is a solid spot here for him to be able to bounce back against a Marlins team that it's been strange way that they've been able to generate offense. Outside of Matt Mervis, Kyle Stowers, you really don't have any power whatsoever. It's not like they've got supreme guys like Eric Wagaman and company move the line for them as well. So I do think that this is going to be a better performance here for the Cubs. I don't necessarily know if I want the run line because, again, Ryan Weathers, I think that he's a very rock-solid pitcher. He's going to be able to give the Marlins 5 or 6 strong innings, but I do have my question marks with that Marlins bullpen, so I'm going to be willing to ride with the money line of the Cubs, and I'm going to be willing to go in on the under.
Yeah, Jameson Taillon, he's always been a guy who gives up a ton of long balls. Coming into this year, 4 straight years, 21 or more home runs allowed, and he might go for a career high this year with the 13 already that you've mentioned. Talking totals here, Angels A's, I don't know what happened game 1. It was 4-2 after 3 innings, 4-3 after 5. If you had a first 5 over, you were good, and then no scoring the rest of the way. Just inexplicable, but that's baseball, Susan. Total sitting at 10. Kyle Hendricks seems like a guy every time he's out there you want to go over. Are we going over 10, Greg?
And I was one of those people that had the over for the full game on Monday, so I'm a little bit salty, and we're going to go right back to the over because what we saw was an outlier, in my opinion, from those 2 bullpens. These 2 bullpens entered the series in the bottom 3 in terms of ERA. The A's right around about a 5.8 in terms of that ERA. The Angels above a 7. And you mentioned it with the professor. Well, he's not schooling anyone right now. In his road starts this year, a 6.32 ERA with 4 home runs allowed in 24 innings. And Gunnar Hoglund is a guy that I'm actually relatively high on. He's been able to give you some nice performances. Even when he was pitching out here at lovely Las Vegas for the Aviators, was able to do a nice job at the PCO, which is very much a hitter-friendly league. So I do think that there's some upside there, but he does have a fielding independent that is north of 5. He has been giving up the deep ball himself. And with the Angels, this is an all or nothing lineup. They're either going to hit home runs or they're going to strike out. There's really not a lot of in between with them. So I do think that the ball is going to be in the air. I do think that it's going to be flying out. And I do think that the A's, they're going to be able to bounce back after that rough game 1. Right now, we're seeing that money line more in that neighborhood of about a minus 155 or so. If you're looking more at the run line, you're able to get about a plus 125. I'm going to be willing to settle on that plus money on the run line. And I do like the over.
Greg, my man, terrific stuff as always. Before we let you go, there's one more game I got to ask you about. Patrick Corbin got bit by that spider, and all of a sudden, he looks like Patrick Corbin of, 2019. Got to go back over a half decade now. He's opposite Will Warren at Yankee Stadium. Totals 9. Yankees about minus 180. Texas about plus $1.50, $1.55. What are your thoughts on this game before we wrap it up?
Well, Patrick Spider-Man Corbin, I think, is going to come back to earth a little bit out there in Yankee Stadium. I think that one of these 2 guys, Will Warren, Patrick Corbin, they're certainly going to be giving it up. Right now, we're seeing that total of 9. I just don't have a lot of faith in either of those pitchers. And I do think that this Rangers offense is doing for a little bit of positivity as well, though I certainly do think that the Yankees are going to be able to outslug them. You're able to get plus money on that Yankees run line. I like that plus money, and I think both of these starting pitchers give up 3+ runs, so I like the over.
We love positivity on the show. Greg, as always, man, great stuff. Really appreciate you hopping on.
Always appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much.
VSiN MLB expert Greg Peterson. Make sure you get access, by the way, to Greg's daily write-ups with a VSiN Pro subscription. We're running a hell of a deal right now. 14 months of VSiN Pro access for just $1.99. It's less than 50 cents a day. It's way better served than that $7 coffee you're getting every day. So make sure you get access to Greg's daily write-ups and follow him on Twitter as well at @GUnit_81. More cashing out with Joe Ceraulo continues.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with myself, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Monday night, right on in to your Tuesday morning for our friends on the East Coast. And let's welcome in one of our friends over on the East Coast. It's time to hit the progressive guest line. Welcome in our friend, content creator over at DraftKings Sportsbook, Tanner Kern, into the program. Tanner, how are you, my friend? How was your weekend? What kind of action did you have? Had a lot of Game 7s, great golf, the Preakness. What were some of your betting highlights from the weekend before we dive into the Tuesday slate, my man?
Well, I don't want to lament on the Celtics, but I got to watch the Celtics lose a game 6. So congrats to your Knicks. I got to watch all the antics that happened outside of Madison Square Garden. That was pretty fun as well. Had some baseball bets this weekend, but pretty sad just over the Boston Celtics and my Red Sox finding a way to lose in every way possible over the weekend. So, hopefully we get a little better this week.
Yeah, although your Red Sox took it to my Mets on Monday, so you got back in the win column there. I mean, it would have been nice if, we were both rooting for the Red Sox against the Braves. Would have been nice for both of us if they won more of those games, and then maybe not so much in my case when my Mets came to town. But my Mets on a little bit of a cooler. We'll see if maybe you're looking to fade them on Tuesday as Walker Buehler comes back. But let's work our way around the diamond. How about St. Louis? They cooled off this hot Detroit team in a big way. 11-4, Sonny Gray shoved 10 strikeouts in the series opener. How do you think the Tigers respond on Tuesday?
I think they're going to respond with a vengeance here. I'm going to go Tigers on the run line. Again, prime run line spot here. Team on the road with the superior pitcher and the superior offense. Did not look that way tonight, but when Tarek Skubal takes the mound for Detroit, they have a different edge to them. 4-2 on the season, ERA right around 2.6, and then a .93 whip. There just aren't many weaknesses for Skubal, and I think he's going to have a really good outing against St. Louis. Allowed just 44 hits in 54 innings with 71 strikeouts. He gives up one walk and less than one home run per 9 innings as well. So that takes an element away from the Cardinals offense. For St. Louis, Eric Fetty's going to pitch. Season, he is 2-2 with a 4.76 ERA and a 2.7 opponent batting average on or at home this season. On the road, he has a 170, so he's really struggled at Busch Stadium as well. Another reason to lean towards the Tigers on the run line here. St. Louis has been good at home, and we saw that tonight, but Detroit's really handled business all season. They've been very good at bouncing back after losses as well. And then when it comes to the bullpen, they have the fourth best bullpen ERA in Major League Baseball. So I do think between Skubal and the bullpen and just enough from the offense against Eric Fetty, I do think they have a great chance to cover on the run line here.
Yeah, man, I truthfully think this is a great bounce back spot. And then, the run line for me is in play. I'm probably going to wait as we get a little closer to game time, see what kind of props open up in the market for Skubal. We've been hitting his K prop lately, going over 7.5 with ease he's been doing. But I absolutely think whether it's the run line, whether it's the prop market, the Detroit Tigers are a great spot, a great team to play on Tuesday. How about the Dodgers? I mean, this has been just an ugly stretch for the Dodgers ever since the Angels came to town for the Freeway Series. What are you looking at Tuesday? Potentially a bounce back spot for them against Arizona.
I'm taking another run line here. Dodgers on the run line. I know they're at home, and I really don't like taking run lines when a team's at home. But when you look at Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers, I mean, he's an ace and he's meant to shove. And I think we're going to see that here on Tuesday. He's 5-3 on the season with a 2.12 ERA and a .98 whip. Walks have been the issue at times for him, but if he commands the zone, he is as close to unhittable as you are going to get. He's thrown 51 innings and allowed just 34 hits with 5 home runs this season. Ryan Nelson's going to be on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks. ERA north of 5 here. He has walked 10 batters in 26.1 innings so far this season. Dodgers have scored nearly 30 more runs in Arizona, and they have the potential to put up a lot of crooked numbers here against Nelson. So I think with Yamamoto on the mound, it gives Los Angeles a great chance to limit Arizona's scoring and then rack up runs of their own to cover this number, even if they don't get there at bats in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, took the run line with them last time out at home against the A's. It was dicey early, but they won the game 9-3. Look, Yamamoto's a guy I've got on Cy Young watch. Skeens, obviously, Wheeler and Yamamoto, to me, are right now in their own tier in the Cy Young market. And current D-backs hitters just 9 for 44 against him in their careers. Tanner, pitchers duel in San Francisco Monday. Bubich, Ray each go 7 scoreless. Are you thinking things might look a little different Tuesday? What do you like, Royals Giants?
I am going to play the over of 8 runs here, and the reason is Michael Lorenzen really struggled on the road. He has a .95 ERA at home with a 188 opponent batting average, but when he is the visitor, 1-4 with a 5.35 ERA and a 276 opponent batting average. If you do not like the full over of 8 runs, I would look to the Giants team total because I do think they're going to have a lot of success here off Lorenzen. And Hayden Birdsong, I like what he's been able to do. He should allow some runs in the spot. Only he's going to go about 3 innings, and then it's going to go to a really good Giants bullpen here. But 2.31 ERA for him. There is some issues, though. 1.29 whip, 10 walks, and 23.1 innings. So I think the Royals could sneak some runs off him early as well in this game. So when you look at the Giants and the Royals, they're both top 10 in bullpen ERA, which is a concern. But if the Giants have the offensive showing that I think they're capable of against Lorenzen, they are 8th in runs scored. So this one comes down, can the San Francisco Giants put up runs early in this game? If they do, I think they have a great chance to get it over the total. If they don't, it's going to be very tough with the bullpens in this game, but I just don't trust Lorenzen pitching on the road here.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Bubich has been ridiculously sensational this season. San Francisco, like you pointed out, their offense at home for the most part has been great. They just ran into a guy who's having quietly maybe the most underrated campaign from a pitcher thus far. Tanner, let's take it from the diamond to the NBA playoffs. Conference finals action Tuesday, OKC, Minnesota. What's the play game 1?
I like the Timberwolves plus 7.5 here against the Thunder. When you look at this game, it's going to show us what the difference between rest and rust is. Oklahoma City was taken to the brink of elimination by Denver. Now, there were times where this series looked like it was going to go in favor of the Nuggets, and other times when the Thunder played up to their capability, it was clear they were the better team. But I believe Denver had a really good chance in that series down the stretch. They just didn't show up in Game 7. So looking at that one, it gives me a little confidence heading into Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals that the Minnesota Timberwolves can hang around. They're coming off an easy series against the Warriors with extended rest. And at this point in the playoffs, I'm going to bank on rest, meaning more than coming out with that momentum that the Thunder should have in this game. 2 players to really watch for, one on each side. Jalen Williams is coming off an unbelievable game for the Thunder, scored 24 points on 58% from the field. He will be key in this series. And you look at what he did against Denver. If he played a little better at times, that series probably doesn't go 7 games. So I think he's a really big X factor in this one. On the flip side, you got Minnesota, very extremely physical team. Anthony Edwards gets the attention, but this series I think is going to come down to Julius Randle setting the tone between him and Gobert in the paint. And Minnesota's just effort all the way across the board. I do think it's going to take the Thunder a little time to adjust here. So I don't expect Jalen Williams to be as good as he was in Game 7 of the Denver series. And I expect a really strong effort from Minnesota. That's what they've shown throughout this entire postseason. These two teams have played really close games so far this season. Minnesota was 3-1 when it came to covering 7.5. They pulled off 2 outright wins against OKC. So I just think 7.5 is a little too much for a team that is rested coming into the spot. If they don't bring that physicality, which we've seen at times in the playoffs for teams coming off rest, it could be an issue. But I will gladly take 7.5 with a guy like Anthony Edwards, knowing how tight they played OKC during the regular season.
All right, Tanner, I've got to ask you in about 45 seconds or less. I know that the game isn't until Wednesday, but Eastern Conference Finals, who do you like in the series? Knicks minus 145 or Indiana plus $1.25?
I hate to do it to you, Joe, and I'm not trying to get revenge for my Boston Celtics here, but I think the Indiana Pacers are the play here. You look at the New York Knicks, obviously they had the super highs and they had the really low lows against the Boston Celtics. They're a great team, and they're more than just Jalen Brunson. It's a well-rounded basketball team, but you need Karl Anthony Towns to step up. I just think the Pacers are playing really good basketball. I don't think it's momentum. I think, this is a team that has the experience. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They knocked off the Knicks, obviously a beat-up Knicks last year. But I'll take the plus money. I think it's 2 evenly matched teams, and I will gladly go where the value is. And I think that's the Indiana Pacers, but wouldn't be surprised either way for who comes out on top in this series.
I will say for that reason, they are evenly matched. Indiana's deep as hell. I think it goes over 5.5 games for sure. Tanner, appreciate the time, man. As always, thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Our friend Tanner Kern. Make sure you follow him at Tanner Kern _ on Twitter and check out his great work over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Folks, smarter bets start right here, and they last all year long with a VSiN Pro subscription. Right now, sign up on an annual subscription. Get 14 months for just $1.99 with the promo code PRO. That's 2 extra months free for less than 50 cents a day. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber. You'll get instant access to a daily email with all of our best bets from hosts and guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, and full access to VSiN.com's analytics trends, and expert breakdowns. So don't wait. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. Use the promo code PRO and lock in your offer right now. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo on the other side.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, Cashing Out continues with myself, Joe Ceraulo. We've got best bets to give out. I love the Tuesday MLB slate. We went 2-0 on Monday. Going to try to go 2-0 again on Tuesday. Also, because I'm going to be gone for the next week, we're going to give out some series plays. NBA, maybe a little action on the ice. Did that yesterday. We'll reiterate the play that we gave out yesterday. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive in here to the best bets portion of the show shortly. Before we do that, folks, do want to remind you that best bets here on Cashing Out are brought to you by our friends over at GBank. Get the GBank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit cards treat sportsbook and gaming transactions like cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. Lucky for you, our friends over at GBank treat them, gaming transactions that is, like purchases. So you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees on gaming transactions right there. Also, with GBank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions, and 2% cashback rewards on all eligible purchases. Apply now, VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. All right, let's dive in. It's time for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. We're going to start the VSiN Daily Morning Bets with a couple of series plays that I like in the NBA. On the ice, we're going to dive right in. First off, I want to reiterate my best bet in the Panthers-Hurricanes series that I gave out yesterday on Cashing Out and on the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. We're riding with the Florida Panthers to get back to the Cup yet again, the finals, minus a game and a half against Carolina, plus $1.45 on the series. The last time the Hurricanes hoisted the Cup, I think I was in second grade. All right? Knowing me, second grade, I was still earning my ABDs back then. Carolina, since then, has been in 3 Eastern Conference finals. They haven't won a game. 0-12, 3 appearances. They've been swept 3 times. I don't think they get swept again, although, I mean, hey, Florida's carrying all the momentum. They just won 4 of their last 5 against Toronto. I don't think Carolina gets swept this series. But I have no faith in the Hurricanes this series. The Panthers are more complete. The offense has erupted. I don't think the Canes can keep up. Give me Florida. I think this series, if we were to go exact, goes Panthers in 6 at 4-1 odds. But we're riding Panthers minus a game and a half, plus 145. I think that plus money price is too good to pass up. In the NBA, we've got 2 series plays, and we're going a half unit on each. We're going Knicks in 7, Knicks in 6. You can get Knicks in 7, the exacta, at 4-1 against Indiana. Knicks in 6 at 6-1. Knicks in 7 is actually the shortest shot on your board. Knicks in 6 is the 4th shortest because that would mean that they'd clinch it on the road. Well, hello, where have you been? This Knicks team, they have been road warriors all postseason. 5-1 straight up away from Madison Square Garden. Oh, by the way, it doesn't hurt that they've figured it out finally at MSG. They're 3-3 at MSG. They've won 2 straight at MSG. So I think the Knicks could entirely do this in 6. I do believe this series will likely go a 7th game. Indiana deserves all the respect in the world. I mean, since the calendar hit January 1st, the Pacers are a top 5 team in the NBA. Make no mistake about it. They're as deep as anyone, maybe sans Oklahoma City. Their backcourt is so versatile. They can have 4 different, maybe even 5 different guards in double figures on any given night. Where I think the Knicks have the big advantage, however, the front court. And that's whether it's one big man, Cat or Mitch, or if they go Twin Towers. I don't think Indiana has an answer. The Knicks go Twin Towers. I don't think Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam, as talented as they both are, and they're both, make no mistake about it, more talented than Mitchell Robinson, but I don't think those guys can bang bodies in the post with Mitchell Robinson or come even close to doing it. Between Cat's finesse and Mitchell Robinson's ferocity, I think the Knicks have an overwhelming advantage in the post defensively. I mean, you could have OG Anunoby if the Knicks go small ball guarding Spicy P. You could have Anunoby if they go Twin Towers guarding Tyrese Halliburton. That's how versatile this Knicks team is defensively. Bridges, Anunoby, Hart. I think the Knicks, if they stay healthy, which they didn't last time they faced the Pacers in the playoffs, and they still took them to 7. The Knicks stay healthy this series. I think they'll overcome Indiana's depth advantage and use mismatches on both sides of the ball to propel them to victory in 6 or 7. I'll put a half a unit on each exacta. All right, let's get to some diamond plays, some best bets in Major League Baseball. Folks, last 8 days, I mean, we couldn't be killing it anymore if we tried, right? We're 26-6, the last 8 days, up over 20 units, 20.6 to be exact. In Major League Baseball, in those 8 days, we're 17-4, up 13.7 units. What do you say we keep the good times rolling with 2 more plays on the diamond? Now, I've been looking at this Phillies-Rockies game, wondering what the heck to do with it. Phillies run line minus 1.5 at most shops is minus $1.80 or so. You're looking at laying 2.5 at some shops if you want to get a better price. And by better price, I mean minus 120. Still nothing fantastic to write home about. So it's a tough angle to take. Now, Colorado, all but 5 of their losses have come by multiple runs, right? So I don't know if that makes you want to lay 80 cents on a Philly minus 1.5 ticket or if it makes you trust them. I mean, look, Monday night they were losing 3-1. They won the game 9-3. They were down 3-1 going into the 7th inning. They won it 9-3. They covered 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Ladder that baby all that you want to. I don't know if I can get there on laying 80 cents. So here's what I'm actually going to do. And I also love Jesus Luzardo. His over 6.5 Ks is plus money. At DraftKings, it's plus $1.25. It intrigues me. The Rockies strike out more than any other team in baseball. But I'm going to take a little plus money parlay here. Now, this is a special at DraftKings. At other books, it's about minus 110, minus 115. At DraftKings, you can get Phillies money line and not have to worry about the run line whatsoever. And Luzardo 6+ strikeouts at plus 110. To me, that same game parlay almost feels too good to be true. You're getting Luzardo at 6 or more Ks and Philly to win plus money at DraftKings. I think you got to take this. I think it's for sure going to move the closer we get to game time. Here's why I want to go 6 Ks instead of 7. Luzardo has only gone for 7 or more strikeouts once in his last 6 starts. Once in his last 6. Got 7 his first 2 starts of the year. Got 11 and then 8. And he's done it once since, actually in 7 starts. However, he's landed on 6 exactly 3 times this year. So he's gone for 6 or more in 6 out of 9 starts. He's gone for 7 or more in just a third, 3 out of his 9 starts. So let's go Luzardo, 6 or more Ks. Let's go Phillies money line. Antonio Senzatalo's on the bump. Last time he faced the Phillies, miraculously, didn't give up an earned run. 5 1/3, 1 run, none earned. But he gave up 10 hits. The guy's whip is 2. His ERA has since caught up. His ERA was 0 after that Phillies start. It's now 6.5, right where it belongs. Phillies money line, Luzardo 6+ Ks plus $1.10 at DraftKings. And Give me Tariq Skubal over 6.5 strikeouts. You can get this. This number is actually, the price is coming down in our favor, minus 135. I'm trying to get this matched at a minus 115 on ProfitX. Skubal over 6.5 Ks, minus 135. Caesar's best price currently. I mean, this was 7.5. It's come down. It's still 7.5 at some shops, plus money, of course. Look, I know St. Louis is one of the tougher teams in baseball to strike out. That doesn't matter when you're dealing with Tariq Skubal. 8+ Ks in 4 straight starts. 11+ in 3 out of his last 4. 8+, by the way, in 4 of his last 5. Skubal's the reigning Cy Young Award winner for a reason. His strikeout numbers, I don't think other teams' K rates apply when you're looking at a pitcher of Tariq Skubal's caliber. Over 6.5 Ks, minus 135. And if you want to ladder it with over 7.5 at a good plus money price, in the words of Beauty and the Beast, be my guest. And that'll do it for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. Good news, folks. The great content never ends, though. Jensen Lewis, Dave Ross, VSiN by the book, 7 a.m. Eastern. Where else would you rather be on a Tuesday morning? Then a numbers game with our friends Gil Alexander and Kelly Bidlin at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by Money Moves with Stormy Bonantoni and our guy JVT at noon Eastern. Special thanks to our terrific team who made this program happen. Our incredible producer, Jared Moore, the rest of our squad, Corey, Jarens, Alexis, Chris, and everyone else who made this program happen. That does it for Cashing Out. I'm Joe Ceraulo, about to get a week off. I'll see you next Tuesday, May 27th, right here on Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.